Hello my gorgeous ones, welcome to Alicia Budget Beauty. My name is Alicia. Here on my channel I love all things affordable fashion and beauty. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, palette reviews, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. All right you guys, I'm super excited and honored today to review this palette from Gourmande Girls and in collaboration with my girl Steph from Steff's Beauty Stash. I know that this was such a long time coming for Steph. She manifested this. She dreamt of this. She had videos before showing what making her ideal palette would be. It's something that I know she's just aspired to do, being such a makeup lover and eyeshadow lover. That girl has tested out more eyeshadow palettes, I swear, than anyone that I know. And very thoroughly. She always does multiple looks every time she tests them out. And to see her palette come to fruition with, I know, a brand owner who is also a dear friend of hers, Christina. She's the owner of Gourmande Girls. They are both Texas girls like me. They have traveled together. They have become good friends. And I just think this is a perfect fit for Steph. It makes all the sense in the world. All of the stars aligned to create this palette, which is called NUEVA VIDA, which is new life. And that makes so much sense to me. And honestly, I have not spoken with her about this palette. You know, when you get a new palette in, especially when it's a collab palette, it's kind of hush hush. You kind of keep it to yourself. And I'm just guessing based on what I know about Steph and what I know about Christina, that this is all about just these steps that they have taken to create a new life for themselves, whether it's a career change, a move. I know Christina, her husband is coming over from Europe to finally be able to live in the US with her. Steph had a big career change and she went to doing YouTube full-time, and then now she's taken on another career on top of doing YouTube basically full-time, because that girl works really, really hard. So I think that's what this palette is a representation of. And so here it is inside, and I'm not surprised that this is the color story. Steph loves colorful makeup. She does all things. She does neutral as well, but her love is definitely in colorful eyeshadows. And names in here are just very appropriate, like vacay all day. We have animal prints, the paw prints. I know Steph is a huge cat lover, and then Christina is a big animal lover and has dogs and rescues dogs. So you have a couple of paw prints here with names like Cooper and Buster. This H2O is cute and it's blue, and Steph is always reminding everyone to hydrate and drink your water in her videos. New life, weekend vibes, blessed dreamer. I think it makes so much sense, and it's also obviously such a pretty spring into summer palette. And I am going to pop over here these swatches. I actually swatched this top row on a hand and then this bottom row on a hand. I did that just to give myself room, and I find it easier to capture on the hand than I do my arm. It's always a bit awkward when I'm filming it. But it's funny because I didn't realize until I swatched it how this top row is just a little bit like cooler tones. I mean, you do have some bright in here, but it's a little bit more muted in the tones, and then the bottom's a little bit more bold and bright, other than like this green right here. I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just how it happened to appear in the swatches. It's funny because this came at just the most magical time, because I really didn't own a palette with this type of color story, and I've had so much FOMO over the Divern. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. I'll put it over here. I'll pop the palette over here. The Moth and the Moon palette. My girl Sash, go check her out as well. She's amazing, and I think she's the next one of my friends to eventually get a collab because she's just so talented. But she had shared this palette and looks, and I was having such FOMO, and I was like, you know, that is a gap in my collection. I don't really have a palette like that. And then when this came like a couple of days later and I opened it up, they are not like dupes of each other, but it's a very similar sort of vibe to it with like some deeper tones and then some neons in there. And I was like, oh, there it is. Like, I really don't, then I'm not going to feel FOMO anymore of not having the Moth on the Moon. The only other one that I have that's like close-ish is this Mora Cosmetics, the Fun is in the Air palette. Here is this color story. So this is the closest that I have. I don't have a lot of neons in my collection, and these are not dupes of each other, but look how well these would pair. Would these not go so well together? I think so. So anyway, that's my little just wasn't very brief, my intro to this palette, and I'm really excited to dig in here and play. This does launch on March the 8th. I don't have a price yet. If I do by the time this goes up, it will be on the screen or the information will be in the description box. But I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna try to do 4 looks for you guys. I'm gonna do 1 on each eye today, 1 on each eye tomorrow, total of 4. So let's go ahead and dig into Nueva Vida. All right, you guys, last night when I was trying to go to sleep, I was thinking about one look that I wanted to do with this palette. Like, that's what I think about when I'm going to bed. I think about things I'm gonna film the next day and fragrance. That's what I think about. All right, so I am gonna actually go in with Que Padre and this bright orange. And I am going to, gotta get my little creasy out there. I'm gonna start laying that down right here. Oh yeah, look, I mean, it perfectly goes with my shirt. And of course, I did not do that by accident. I do like to coordinate my clothes to my makeup. Occasionally I will do contrast, or like same, you know, tone of color family with my clothing of the eye looks, but I almost always do think about, like, it's not by accident, we'll say that. This is very, very bright. This kind of reminds me of like a neon orange sidewalk chalk. And I don't mean that this is like, oh, it's chalky, you know. I'm actually a lot of sidewalk chalk. I'm talking like a mom of 3 here. My kids are a little bit past playing with sidewalk chalk, unfortunately. But when they did, a lot of it is very, very smooth. I remember kind of thinking like, chalk has come a long way. It's not very chalky anymore. Like, maybe we shouldn't rename it to smoothie. But anyway, this is smooth. It's not like dusty chalk like we remember. But it reminds me of that like neon chalk. Okay, now I am going to go into Aura. So this actually has the cancer ribbon, breast cancer ribbon. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm just placing that like right here. It's a very light peachy shade. I'm not sure what this is referring to as far as Steph or Christina. You know, we did have our other palette that from Gourmande Girls that was breast cancer themed, the Warriors Wear Pink palette. I actually have that currently in a little ranking pile over here because I'm going to film all the palettes I used in the month of February, and I did use that palette. So I've got it over here in my little ranking pile, but that palette was dedicated to breast cancer warriors. And, you know, I know pretty much anyone is touched by, oh, by the way, I'm going in with Keep Moving. I know everyone is touched in some way, you know, by cancer, breast cancer, knowing someone, but I'm not sure exactly what the whole backstory behind this particular one is. So you guys will definitely, no matter what anyway, want to check out Steph's video. I haven't seen it yet at the time that I'm filming this, but obviously, like, it's her moment to shine. She'll have her video up, and I'm sure explaining everything and her thought process behind this palette. So I'm very anxious to see that. It's kind of helpful that I know her, love her to death, and consider her, you know, a fellow beauty YouTuber, content creator friend that I've been fortunate to connect with on here. But I still learn about, you know, all my friends that I've made through here all the time. That's what's fun about, I think, long form content specifically. You know, it's harder to get to know people on Instagram and TikTok. I feel like you can show a little bit more personality than you can on Instagram, but I'm always learning. So I'll look forward to seeing that video of hers and finding out exactly, you know, what this breast cancer shade represents. But I'm loving how these go together. I was just in my head last night. I was like, I really want to put the orange and the pink, this kind of like deep magenta, the peach all together. I couldn't get it out of my mind last night. So that's really, really pretty. I'm not sure what I want to put on the bottom yet until I go ahead and do a shimmer on top. So I'm going to go in with New Life. And this is the one when I swatched it, made me so excited because I adore a pink shimmer. I think it all goes back to my MAC days. I wish I could remember what it was called, but there was a pink single pot shadow shimmer, very similar in tone to this, that I wore all the time. I had one like this. I had a shifty one that was like a gold to pink. And then I had a red shimmer, and like those, like this what I wore all the time going out when I was a freshman in college. So as soon as I swatched this, it just reminded me of that. And I was really, really excited to get it on. That's really pretty. Okay, now I think what I want to do, let me see here. So we have the convertible, which I think Steph has talked about that car, I think. If that's what I'm thinking of. I know there was a car she talked about that she had forever that she sold, that she loved, and it may have been that one. Okay, so we have the convertible, Vacay All Day, and Blessed. I know I want to save Island Time for the other eye. So with this eye, I think I want to put Blessed right here. That's a fun inner corner. This is a little shift of a, we have like a blue, green, purple shift, I believe. Yeah, that's pretty. I'm gonna put a little bit right here as well. I think that's so fun and pretty. You almost don't even need a lower lash line for that, but I think to kind of keep it, I really, really like the colors we have going here. I'm just gonna go back in with Keep Moving and put that right here. I like the tone of this. I thought this shade was going to be kind of like a Merlot, but it's actually just like a really deep magenta, which kind of works better in my opinion. You know, when you've got like the purples in this palette, I just think it would go better than like a burgundy would, or a Merlot, if you will. So I'm kind of glad that I was wrong about the tone of this shade. I'm just gonna bring that right up here. Oh, that's fun. I like it. I love that orange. That orange is so fun. Okay, now I really want to dabble in some of the purples and the greens in here. So I'm gonna go with Weekend Vibes, which is this bright green. And even though these are gonna be two totally different, you know, color schemes here on the eyes, it's gonna kind of follow the same, like put the bright neon in the inner portion and then go out to something a little bit deeper. But this is a really pretty color of green. I like the tones of these neons because while I would say they're neon, they're not, like this could be an even more neon bright green than it is, but I think this is a little bit more wearable of a green. I mean, it's still bright, it's still bold, but it's not like a glowing neon. And I could actually see, even though there's not another like green matte in here, I could see this pairing really well with another palette that has some deep greens. It would be really pretty. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with Dreamer, which is this lavender shade. And blend the two of those together. These two together actually make me think more spring. This is more summery to me. And this is more spring, kind of Eastery vibes here. So you kind of have a little bit of neon mixed with some kind of almost pastel. Oh, cool. Where these meet, it's making kind of what the H2O shade is. So that tells me they're meant to blend in well with that shade as well, because if these two are making that shade, then they'll blend well with it. But yeah, they make like a sky blue. Color theory lesson, did not know. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with Dr. Farr. And Dr. Farr is Steph's title. She does have her doctorate in education, I believe. So very, very cool. That's one thing I really loved about Steph when I started watching her, is just her, I mean, she's no dummy. She's no dummy. She's very smart. She's accomplished. She's educated and also very, very kind. I don't think I mentioned too that she and Christina are both Latina beauties. And I always gravitate towards Latinas because my husband is Mexican, so I tend to gravitate that direction. So it was no surprise. I use the back of my, or the end of my brush often to kind of smooth out lines. It's not very professional, but it works. It does work. I love how this blends together. I did not expect these to blend into this kind of like almost like hypercolor tie-dye looking pastels. I just didn't realize it was going to make that blue. That is so cool. And actually that probably means that it would go really well with and this is probably intentional, the Vacay All Day and Blessed, the ones I swatched over here. So that really makes sense. Okay, but I'm gonna go in with Island Time because when I swatched this, it was so pretty. It's so pretty. This makes me want to go on vacay. I get so jealous. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I do get jealous and I envy people that get to go on vacay. We just really don't anymore. I'm a mom of 3. I have boys in baseball that it's like baseball all of the time. It's really hard to get away, especially during the summer when you would travel. And so I went from being a pretty well-traveled girl. I was a travel agent actually for many, many years. But I went from traveling before I had babies to not really getting to travel, but booking other people's travel to now doing makeup that is beach themed, beach travel themed, and getting to go nowhere. So I'm not jealous, but I am jealous. Okay, I really like that too. But I'm gonna go in with Vacay All Day now. I'm gonna put that right here. So that's going to add in some blue, which ties perfectly into how the green and the purple kind of made that blue on its own. So that makes total sense, popping it right there. I really like this blue. This is a very aqua. It does have a bit of a shift, like it's got blue and purple, so it goes really, really well with the purples. I feel like a tropical fish. Okay, for the bottom, I'm gonna go back in with Dr. Farr, and because it's on that outer portion, I also really like this tone of purple too. It's kind of this is actually like a pretty true lavender instead of it being like a royal purple or like an eggplant. It's more lavender. I like it. I am having like just an ever so slight issue blending out this purple on this edge, but I think that might just be me. I don't think it's this purple because here it wasn't a problem. It's just kind of right here. So I may have like dry skin right here. Okay, that's really pretty. And I think I'm actually going to go in with H2O real quick. The blue, it's kind of like sky periwinkle blue. And just run it right here. Oh, that's so pretty. I really like this tone of blue. I'm going to play with this more tomorrow on the lid in the third look, but smooth out that edge. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the liner lashes, do the good lighting that I like to do the lip, and come back and wrap up these first two looks. All right, you guys, I'm back. I think both looks are so pretty. Really, really pretty. It's interesting how somehow I feel like this side makes my eye look kind of like open and elongated, and this one is just kind of more contained to my natural eye shape. Very, very interesting. I'm not sure. It's something about the technique did that, but I think they're both so pretty. This one's very warm, sunsetty, summery, and this kind of has that like cool tone mermaidy look to it. Really, really pretty. On the lower lash line for this eye, I have the Mora Multi Chrome Liner in Electra. I use these all the time. This one is Chroma in this eye. And then for the lip, I did a little gloss combo of these AOA Studio. You get them from Shop Miss A. They're diamond lip glosses. So this one is more like deep corally warm, and then this one has like a cool tone, kind of like blue sparkle, which I thought would be cool to layer them. This is Hard Candy, and this one is Girl Power Hard Candy. And yeah, I think these looks are really beautiful. I really didn't have any issues. Like I said, this kind of got funky out here, but I took a brush, like a clean brush, and I just kind of like really blended it out, and that fixed the issue. So I don't think it was the shadow's fault at all. The only shades I have not used yet is Buster and the Convertible and Cooper. So I'm definitely going to use those tomorrow in the two looks, but I think these are so pretty. Really, really excited. So let's go ahead and move on to looks number 3 and 4. All right, you guys, we're back for day number 2, looks number 3 and 4. Just gonna push my line main back here, and I'm gonna go ahead and dig in. And I found out a couple of things about this palette that I'll talk about while I am creating the look, so this doesn't get even longer than it already is. But I know I want to do a blue look today. So I'm going to go in with the H2O, the light blue here, and start putting this down. So I forgot, or I didn't forget. I assumed wrongly that Doodles by the Bunny didn't work on this palette. And if you guys don't know, she has been working on all of the Gourmande Girls palettes since Spooked, I believe, was the first one. So Nightshade, Spooked, Silent Night, Haunted, those have all been collaborations with Doodles by the Bunny. She's super awesome, really, really sweet. I really, really enjoy her as a person. And then she also has an awesome Instagram. I will pop it on the screen. She does all these mock-up palettes that are hypotheticals that brands should really hire her to create because she has really great ideas. By the way, I'm going to go in with Cooper, this deeper blue. So anyway, as I was saying, when I opened this up originally, I was like, oh, did she not work on this palette? Because I didn't notice her name on the front anywhere or anywhere like inside the palette. And I thought, well, maybe because this is a collab, maybe then Christina from Gourmande Girls, I was like, maybe she just, you know, didn't use her for this. But then I looked on the back and it's on the back. So she did work on this palette. So I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that and give her the credit. Okay, I'm debating if I want to put Dreamer, the lavender, just kind of right here, blending these. Let's go ahead and do it. I was gonna keep it kind of monochromatic blue, but I think because the Vacay All Day duochrome that I'm gonna pop in, I think it has purple in it as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and include this. Ooh, I like that. I actually like that. I think that's cool. The other thing that I found out about this palette, and by the way, Steph has now, as I'm speaking, put up her video on this. So of course she gets to be first. It's her palette. Yay. You guys are seeing this on Sunday. Well, if you watch it the day I put up, but it is Saturday when I'm filming this, and Steph put up her video. So I'm so happy for her. Very, very exciting stuff. She's such a sweetheart. She's so humble, so kind, and I'm just very, very happy for her. And it's cute and almost, I'm like, maybe almost a little creepy of me that I got so much of this right. Like my first look was, you know, before she put up that video, and I pretty much had all of my assumptions about this palette correct. Like as far as like the names and just her vision and everything. So, but that just means that I know my friend, and yeah, I'm just very, very happy for her. I also now know the price. This is $52.99, and my code Budget Beauty will give you 10% off. So that does bring it down into the 40s, which I think is fair. I think that is a fair price for a 14 pan and a collab palette, because sometimes brands use the excuse of a collab palette as like a reason to increase prices a lot. And the fact that now I know Doodles by the Bunny did work on this, and Christina, and that the price didn't go up from the other palettes, I like that. I do like hearing that. Okay, I did take a little bit of that Dreamer purple and put that right here in this inner portion of the lower lash line. But now I'm gonna go in with Vacay All Day. And we are going to pop that right here. Oh yeah, this is definitely like a blurple shade. So it probably would pull, like you'd probably see more purple in it if you paired it with just the purple mattes, more blue in it if you paired it with just the blue. But I think the combo of blue and purple mattes really bring out both in this. Yeah, it's really, really pretty. Okay, now I know I want to go in with the convertible, that little shimmer there, and pop that on the inner corner. It's the most obvious inner corner shade, the lightest. It's kind of like an opal almost. What I do like about a shade like this is you can always put this down first and then take any of the other shimmer duos and pop it on top and kind of create a whole new inner corner shade. But yeah, that's really pretty. It really brightens things up. This would be pretty in the brow bone as well. Okay, next up I know I want to do a green and brown look. So we're just gonna put this all the way across here again. I love this green. This green just makes me happy. And you would probably, well, no, I take that back. I was gonna say you'd probably get this in time for, some of it got in my hair. I'm gonna have green hair. Oh well, that's what you get when you wear, when I do my wild hair like this. Who knows what's gonna appear in it. I was gonna say you might get this in time for St. Patrick's Day. No, you won't, because this launches on the 8th, I believe. I'll have it on the screen. Now I'm like, is it the 5th? But anyway, I don't think you'd have it in time for St. Patrick's Day. Maybe, but don't hold me to that. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with Buster, the brown. That's funny. I don't, this is kind of just like a, not an inside joke, but just recently my husband and I were like, we were trying to remember the name of a shoe store when we were growing up. And I was like, it's like the Sailor Kid. And he's like, yeah, I can picture the Sailor Kid. But we were like, what was it called? And so we looked it up, and it's Buster Brown. And that's funny that this is a brown shade and the name of it's Buster. Does anyone remember? Did you guys grow up? I mean, are you as old as me? That's the question. But yeah, Buster Brown was this store, and it had a dog and like a sailor girl as the like mascot. Anyway, I remember going in there and trying to find shoes. Now I buy them all online. Now I'm like, ew, go into like a mall, what? Okay, I'm gonna go back in with Buster and put that on the lower lash line. I'm loving how this green and brown go together. And this brown is kind of like, it's kind of a murky brown anyway. I'm gonna try to fill in right here with my carport lids, as I call them. It hangs over, and I always kind of miss this one little spot right here, and it can tend to make shadows look patchy, and it's really just because it's so difficult to get in there. So anyway, this shade is it's kind of a swampy murky brown instead of like a, it's not a chocolate brown, it's almost an espresso. I do like this shade. I will say I've noticed, and I noticed it when I was swatching them, that the brown and the blue feel a bit different. They're not as soft as like the neon shades, and they're performing pretty well, but they're not like a buttery smooth matte. They're a little bit drier, take just a little bit more blending to make sure they don't look patchy. It's just a little side note. Okay. Now, I think I'm just going to go ahead and put Weekend Vibes. We're just going to make this kind of an all green and brown. Yeah, just bring that back down here. Ooh, I even really like this green matte. I love a bright green matte inner corner. I think it looks so cool. So I could leave it like that and not even put a inner corner. But let's go ahead and go in with Island Time. So pretty. This is so pretty against like the brown. This may be my favorite look. This eye right here. I really, really like it. I think I like, I don't know, that's hard. I really liked both looks yesterday, but I may like these two even better than yesterday's look. And if you're someone that this color story is kind of just like you're like, oh, it's so bright. I need something to anchor. This brown does help. Granted, it's only one neutral shade in here and deep, but there is something in here to ground it. I keep debating if I want to put something in this inner corner because I really like how it looks, but I think I'm just going to take Island Time again and just pop it right here. Just make it a bright, sparkly green inner corner. I love this eye. Love it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the lashes liner, all the things, the lip, this and the other lighting, and we'll come back and wrap up Nueva Vida. So here is the final look of these two gorgeous eye looks. I absolutely love the green side so much. I mean, I love this side too. Really, really pretty, but this green is so pretty. All right, real quick, lower lash line, multi-chrome liner from Mora in Ultra and then in Phoenix on each eye. And then the lip got a little funky. I think it works, but I wanted to just go with a gloss. I wanted it to be kind of sparkly. And I first had on this one, Strut from Sephora. I love these glosses so much, the glossed. And I thought it was like maybe a little too gold. And so I was like, oh, let me cool tone it up a bit. I used the Casper Mystic, but then this made it like really, really pale and too cool tone. So I tried to layer this back on top. It's not my favorite lip, but I think we're just letting the eyes do the talking here. So let's go ahead and talk about this palette. Number one, anytime your friends succeed, you should be really, really happy for them, encouraging. I'm so happy for Steph. I mean, it's a dream. It's a dream come true. If you've been putting in the time for years, doing makeup videos and content creating and testing a million palettes, who wouldn't want your name to be on a palette and that you get to have a say in the color story and everything? So I'm so happy for her. As far as like who I recommend this palette to, number one, if you see this color story and you're like, oh, that is so me, obviously grab it. It's for you. If you're a little bit hesitant, I think that if you don't have anything like this in your collection, like I really feel like this kind of filled a gap for me, then I think, and if you're like, well, I kind of want to dabble in colors like that, I don't have anything like that, I recommend it. Quality is there. I think this is really just going to be is this your color story or not? I think it's fun for spring and summer. I'm glad that we have this brown, and this is pretty toned down too, this peach. So I think you could create some really pretty, you know, pastel-y spring Easter looks with this, go into summer as well. So I think it's really fun. If you do not like bright colors and you don't like colorful makeup, this is not for you, and that's fine. That's fine too. But that is all I really have to say, other than I'm just, again, so proud of Steph, excited for her. I personally love my 4 looks that I created. You guys let me know what your favorite was in the comments. Let me know if you're going to pick it up. Remember, you can use Budget Beauty to save 10%. And thank you so much for watching. As always, have fun shopping, budget shopping. Bye.